Hello friends. What happens when fire meets air? When a bold, impulsive Aries man locks eyes with a graceful, charming Libra woman, it's not just chemistry, it's pure alchemy. This is not a slow burn, nor is it a quiet love. It's an electrifying dance of opposites, a whirlwind of passion and poetry. But is it sustainable? Can this celestial pairing thrive beyond the initial sparks? Let's dive deep into the astrological dynamics between the Aries man and the Libra woman, exploring love, sex, marriage, friendship, and business. By the end, you'll know if these two are written in the stars or destined for a cosmic clash. Love, passion meets poise. From the very first glance, the Aries man and Libra woman seem to orbit around each other with gravitational pull. He notices her in a crowded room not because she's the loudest, but because she's effortlessly magnetic, poised, graceful, seemingly in tune with every social nuance around her. She, meanwhile, can't help but clock the Aries man the moment he steps into her line of sight. He's electric. The kind of man who doesn't just enter a room, he takes it. There's something intoxicating about his raw presence, the confidence in his voice, the unapologetic way he exists. He radiates action, she emanates elegance. And in that tension, they both feel the unmistakable hum of potential. What makes this connection so instantly compelling is how naturally they reflect each other's unspoken desires. The Aries man doesn't just want a woman, he wants a partner who challenges him, who has her own mind, who isn't afraid to say no. The Libra woman. She's not searching for chaos, but for a spark that makes her heart skip. And Aries provides exactly that. She is ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Her entire essence is drawn to harmony, balance, and things that make life richer. He is ruled by Mars, the god of war. His nature is action, heat, and challenge. When Venus and Mars meet, it's mythology in motion. It's love, but it's also combustion. Their early days often feel like a modern fairy tale set to a fast tempo. Think late-night drives, heated debates over art or politics that somehow end in laughter, and unexpected kisses that feel like lightning. He is all instinct, impulsive texts, surprise trips, grand gestures. She is measured, a dinner date planned just right, conversations that always circle back to the heart. She brings thoughtfulness to his wild, and he brings urgency to her calm. It's a whirlwind of differences, sure, but not in a way that divides. Instead, those differences seem to ignite something in each of them. But no matter how fiery the start, long-term love is built on more than fireworks. And this is where the friction begins. Aries is often brutally honest, sometimes too much so. He doesn't sugarcoat, he doesn't do passive-aggressive. He'll say what he thinks, when he thinks it, and while that kind of directness can be refreshing, it can also bruise a Libra woman's sense of emotional equilibrium. She doesn't like shouting matches or dramatic ultimatums, she wants discussions with grace, solutions through harmony. When he storms in with blunt force, she may shut down entirely. And that silence? To an Aries, it's maddening. Aries needs to understand that passion without empathy can burn bridges. He must learn that slowing down to truly hear her isn't weakness, it's love with depth. Libra, for her part, needs to speak up rather than smooth over. Her desire to maintain peace should not come at the cost of honesty. She must realize that Aries values truth, even if it's messy, and that hiding discomfort only makes the eventual clash worse. When both meet each other halfway, he with patience, she with clarity, their relationship becomes more than passionate. It becomes strong. At their highest frequency, they become each other's missing element. Aries teaches Libra to leap before she second-guesses. He brings color and risk to her carefully curated world. She teaches him that beauty can exist in stillness, that sometimes restraint is power. Together, they are romantic and daring, intellectual and emotional. The couple that turns heads at every gathering, the ones who always seem like they're living a story worth telling. But when the polarity flips, when the charm turns into criticism, and the excitement becomes exhaustion, the same traits that drew them together can begin to repulse. Aries may see Libra's indecisiveness as weakness, Libra may view Aries' intensity as selfishness. Left unaddressed, these feelings snowball into distance. The eye contact that once electrified now feels confrontational. The passion becomes pressure. Yet, if they stay present, if they remember that love isn't about sameness, but synergy, they can rewrite the ending. Because love between an Aries man and a Libra woman isn't just about finding common ground. It's about celebrating contrast. It's about the fire learning how to warm without scorching, and the breeze learning how to dance without disappearing. That's not just compatibility. That's growth. That's balance. That's what love looks like when poise meets passion and neither backs down. Sex, fire on silk sheets. If love between an Aries man and a Libra woman is a magnetic force, then sex is where that energy explodes, and not quietly. This isn't a slow waltz or gentle sway. It's a full-throttle tango drenched in heat, tension, and a kind of elegance that keeps both of them coming back for more. From the moment their bodies first touch, the chemistry is undeniable. The Aries man brings fire, raw, immediate, and unfiltered. He doesn't wait, doesn't hesitate. His desire is physical, visceral, and charged with intent. For him, sex is not just a release, it's a conquest, a performance, and a declaration of passion all in one breathless moment. The Libra woman, by contrast, doesn't rush into anything without setting the stage. Her style is less brute force, more emotional theater. For her, the sensual experience begins long before the first kiss, during a slow conversation, a brush of fingertips across a table, a compliment whispered with intention. She thrives on flirtation, on the slow undressing of minds before the undressing of bodies. Every candle lit, every song chosen, every movement is part of a choreography in her mind. She wants to be wooed, not overtaken. But don't confuse her softness for passivity. When she steps into the bedroom, she brings an unspoken power. One that whispers, "You may lead, but only because I let you." When these two finally collide, it's not just chemistry, it's combustion. Aries takes the initiative, and Libra, with her Venusian allure, dances in rhythm, guiding the tempo with an invisible hand. Their dynamic in bed mirrors their cosmic elements, fire and air. He's heat. She's oxygen. Together, they create steam, sweat, and spark. She softens his edges. He draws out her hidden hunger. It's not just physical, it's poetic. The kind of connection that leaves both of them breathless, not just from pleasure, but from the emotional layers peeled away in the act. Still, even this intoxicating match isn't immune to challenges. Aries, ruled by Mars, is direct and often impatient. He may want things fast, raw, and now. He's not always great with nuance. If he's not careful, his hunger can come off as self-serving. Libra, on the other hand, needs sensual build-up. Emotional connection. She wants to feel desired not just for her body, but for her soul, her mind, the way she laughs when she's nervous or how she tilts her head during a kiss. If she feels rushed or treated like a checkpoint, she'll shut down emotionally, even if the physical act continues. To bridge this gap, Aries must learn that slowing down doesn't mean losing power. In fact, it amplifies it. The more he savors her, listens to her rhythms, and creates anticipation, the more deeply she opens. And when she opens, truly opens, what emerges is not just passion but deep emotional vulnerability that transforms the act from physical to sacred. Libra, for her part, must trust that Aries isn't just intensity without heart. Behind his fast hands and fiery gaze is a man who craves connection just as deeply, he just expresses it with less subtlety. When they find this rhythm, when fire stops racing ahead and air stops floating away, something rare happens. Their sex life becomes a playground, not just for the body, but for trust, fantasy, and evolution. They begin to experiment. Role play. try new things. Not because they're bored, but because they feel safe, seen. Aries introduces spontaneity. Libra introduces style. He'll suggest the rooftop at midnight, she'll bring the champagne and silk sheets. Every encounter feels like the first time, but better. And when emotions enter the picture, and they always do, their connection deepens even more. Because underneath all the passion, what they're really doing is learning each other's language. Aries is learning to express desire with grace. Libra is learning to embrace lust without fear. Together, they co-write a script of pleasure that transcends technique or timing. In the end, their sexual relationship becomes more than satisfying. It becomes sustaining. A kind of sacred space where both are allowed to be bold and vulnerable, wild and refined. A dance of fire and air on satin sheets, with no finish line, just wave after wave of shared, evolving pleasure. Marriage, the long-term equation. Marriage between an Aries man and a Libra woman isn't the calm after the storm, it's the storm learning how to dance with the breeze. It's not the fairy tale you find in storybooks, but the kind you write yourself with ink made of sweat, laughter, and compromise. These two are elemental opposites, Mars and Venus, fire and air, and when they say, I do, what they're really saying is, I'm ready to grow. That's because marriage for this pair doesn't settle, it evolves. It challenges. It asks each partner to meet the other at their sharpest and softest edges, over and over again. Aries men bring intensity to marriage from day one. He's the husband who forgets your anniversary dinner reservation but writes you love letters on the back of a gas station receipt because he couldn't stop thinking about you. He's impulsive, passionate, and sometimes, a little bit of a chaos agent. But underneath the swagger is a man who wants to be someone's person. His love is all in, and when he commits, he's not playing. What he struggles with is structure, daily routines, slow compromise, and anything that feels like rules. To him, marriage can feel like a box unless it's framed as a shared adventure. Enter the Libra woman. She is the architect of emotional balance. Her ideal marriage is one where both partners feel heard, where art, conversation, and connection bloom under a canopy of respect. She doesn't want chaos, she wants a love that looks like a home. But Libra's desire for peace can become her silent burden. She'll sometimes bite her tongue just to avoid conflict, smoothing things over even when her heart feels wrinkled. She dreams of harmony, but harmony without authenticity eventually breeds resentment. When these two walk down the aisle, what they're really entering is a dynamic experiment in love and power. Aries wants freedom, Libra wants unity. Aries speaks in declarations, Libra negotiates in nuance. Their first year of marriage might feel like a series of philosophical debates with passionate makeup sessions in between. Arguments may start over trivial things, who forgot the grocery list, but they're rarely about what they seem. They're about control, space, feeling heard. Aries may feel boxed in by Libra's need for fairness. Libra may feel steamrolled by Aries' urgency. The solution isn't to avoid the fire, but to learn how to contain it. The truth is, this marriage only works when both partners reframe what commitment means. For Aries, commitment can't feel like chains, it has to feel like a mission. Give him a shared goal, something they build together, a home renovation, a business, raising a family, and he'll pour himself into it. He needs purpose with a pulse. Libra, on the other hand, thrives in emotional ecosystems. She needs to know that her emotional intelligence, her sense of diplomacy, and her deep desire for partnership are being recognized. If Aries can validate her vision, and she can support his momentum, they don't just survive, they thrive. One of the most beautiful aspects of this union is how each partner fills in the gaps the other didn't know they had. Aries teaches Libra that perfection is overrated, sometimes the mess is where the magic is. He pulls her out of her head, pushes her into the moment, reminds her that life is too short to weigh every option twice. Libra teaches Aries that not every battle is worth fighting. That grace is a form of strength. That sometimes the boldest move is to wait. With time and maturity, this marriage becomes a masterclass in balance. Aries brings the fire that keeps things exciting. Libra brings the air that keeps it breathable. They argue, but they also evolve. They stumble, but they rarely fall apart without learning something vital. Their love is not static, it moves, stretches, adapts. And when they lean into each other's strengths instead of resisting them, their partnership transforms into something extraordinary. But make no mistake, this kind of marriage takes work. Aries must learn to pause, to consider feelings before launching into action. He must realize that independence isn't threatened by intimacy, it's enhanced by it. Libra must learn that conflict isn't failure. That standing her ground doesn't disrupt love, it strengthens it. The more they both commit to growth, the more solid the foundation beneath them becomes. Years down the line, people may wonder how they've lasted so long, how a storm and a breeze didn't tear each other apart. But those who know them will understand, their marriage was never about avoiding friction. It was about using it, transforming it, into something that lasts. A union that bends without breaking. A love that burns, yes, but with direction and purpose. And that, in the end, is the long-term equation they were solving all along. Not perfect, but perfectly theirs. Friendship, a complementary vibe. Before the butterflies, before the glances across the room or the passionate encounters under moonlight, Aries and Libra have the rare potential to become something even more enduring, genuinely great friends. There's a natural magnetism between them that doesn't rely solely on romance or physical attraction. It's the spark of curiosity, the intrigue of difference. Aries, bold and spontaneous, looks at the world like a playground full of mountains to climb and rules to rewrite. Libra, graceful and thoughtful, sees the world like a gallery, one that should be explored, understood, and appreciated with a certain level of aesthetic and moral finesse. It's fire meeting air in its purest form, playful, unpredictable, and deeply rewarding. When these two form a friendship, it's like lighting a match in a room full of oxygen, not dangerous, but energizing. Aries brings the impulsive invitations and last-minute road trips. He's the friend that calls at 10 p.m. and says, "Pack a bag, we're driving to the coast." Libra, ever the curator of vibes, doesn't just go along for the ride, she brings the playlist, the snacks, and a backup plan in case things go south. Where Aries thrives on instinct, Libra offers the counterbalance of reflection. It's not that she slows him down, it's that she gives his momentum direction. Their friendship becomes a dance of contrasts that just works. Aries makes decisions fast, sometimes too fast. Libra, with her balanced approach, helps him see the consequences, the nuances, the perspectives he might bulldoze past. She doesn't tell him, no, as much as she says, but what if we did it this way instead? He listens, grudgingly at first, but eventually with genuine appreciation. Libra, for all her grace, often struggles to choose between options. She's the type to read 5 restaurant menus before picking one. Aries brings in the, "let's just go here, it looks fun" energy that gets her out of decision paralysis. Over time, they begin to anticipate each other's rhythms, and what once felt like conflict becomes choreography. And oh, do they laugh. Their humor comes from seeing the world through different lenses, which gives them endless fodder for playful debate. Aries says something outrageous, Libra challenges him with facts and flair. It's a friendship where arguments are actually foreplay for the brain, sharp, quick-witted exchanges that end in laughter, not resentment. They tease each other mercilessly, but never cruelly. In each other, they find someone who doesn't just keep up, but makes the ride more thrilling. But this closeness, this shared energy, sometimes walks the tightrope of blurred lines. With their natural chemistry, it's not uncommon for one or both to start wondering, what if? Aries, always acting on instinct, might lean in emotionally or physically before thinking it through. Libra, charmed by his spontaneity, might find herself romanticizing their connection. And while a friendship evolving into something deeper isn't a bad thing, it does demand clarity. If one catches feelings and the other doesn't, or doesn't know how to handle it, it can shake the foundation they've built. That said, when they communicate openly, when they draw clear lines and respect them, this friendship becomes a lasting force. They become each other's anchor and wings. Aries will show up to Libra's art gallery opening even if he doesn't understand a single brushstroke. Libra will cheer Aries on at his amateur boxing match even if she winces every time someone throws a punch. They're there for each other in the chaos and the calm, offering advice, perspective, and presence. When life throws punches, breakups, career setbacks, personal doubts, they've got each other's back, no questions asked. And perhaps what makes this friendship so beautiful is its refusal to conform to cliché. It's not the bubbly bestie duo or the classic opposites at war trope. It's real. Dynamic. Occasionally messy. But always loyal. They challenge each other, grow with each other, and never let things get stale. Whether they're sipping overpriced coffee while dissecting the meaning of life or racing each other through the city to make a midnight movie, they're fully alive in each other's company. So while the world sees fire and air and thinks storm, Aries and Libra know better. Together, they create motion, excitement, laughter, and above all, balance. Not in the sense of perfection, but in the art of bringing out the best in one another. And that, in any book, is the heart of true friendship. Business, fire plus air equals big ideas. When the Aries man and Libra woman step into the world of business together, they don't just make noise, they create waves. It's not your typical corporate duo. It's vision meets precision, risk meets refinement. Aries brings the fire, energy that crackles, a natural ability to charge forward when others hesitate. He's the guy who walks into a boardroom like it's his battlefield, pitching with power and leading with confidence. He's bold, instinctual, and unapologetically driven. The Libra woman, on the other hand, brings the air, smooth, strategic, and intellectually razor-sharp. She doesn't rush. She considers. She listens. And when she speaks, people lean in. In business, their synergy isn't just functional, it's magnetic. Aries is a spark plug, constantly generating new ideas, pushing for immediate action, and willing to bet on himself no matter the odds. He thrives in chaos, in challenge, in competition. Libra doesn't slow him down, she calibrates him. She sees potential in every direction and knows how to channel his raw energy into something scalable and sustainable. She's the negotiator, the tactician, the brand visionary who can take Aries' "let's do it now" attitude and wrap it in something market-ready. Together, they're startup gold. Aries knows how to get attention, Libra knows how to keep it. He'll barge into meetings and make the pitch. She'll follow up with a polished proposal and a killer contract. He brings the go, she brings the how. And when they're aligned, the result is a business partnership that's not just effective, it's inspiring. They innovate with flair, lead with charisma, and execute with elegance. But that synergy doesn't come without tension. Aries, in his quest for momentum, can bulldoze over planning. He wants to move fast, pivot hard, and strike while the iron is hot, even if it's not fully forged. Libra, valuing fairness and foresight, can overthink, hesitate, or fall into analysis paralysis. She wants every angle considered, every stakeholder happy, every decision ethically sound. That difference in speed can cause friction. Aries may feel like she's holding him back, Libra may feel like he's about to drive them off a cliff. The solution? Role clarity and brutal honesty. This partnership thrives when each person knows their lane and trusts the other to run theirs. Aries needs to respect Libra's need for structure and feedback, not as obstacles, but as tools for refinement. Libra needs to honor Aries' hunger for action, not as recklessness, but as intuition with a track record. When they meet in the middle, Aries taking a breath before leaping, Libra deciding before overthinking, they become unstoppable. One of the most underrated assets of this business duo is their shared charm. Aries commands attention with natural authority. Libra disarms with grace and eloquence. Together, they're not just smart, they're magnetic. Whether they're closing deals, hosting events, or launching new products, they know how to make people feel seen, inspired, and part of something bigger. It's charisma with strategy, ambition with empathy, a rare combination in any industry. But they have to watch for the cracks. Power struggles can creep in if boundaries blur. Aries might feel the need to dominate, especially if he senses hesitation. Libra might retreat into passive resistance if she feels unheard. And in business, unresolved tension doesn't just stay personal, it infects performance, decision-making, team morale. That's why communication must stay front and center. Regular check-ins, transparent goal setting, and the willingness to own mistakes are not optional, they're essential. Still, when it works, when the fire blazes and the air lifts, it's electric. This is the team that sees a market gap and fills it with something bold and beautiful. They build brands with edge, companies with heart. They don't follow trends, they start them. And because they push each other to grow, their ventures never stay stagnant. The Aries man pushes the Libra woman to dream bigger, louder, faster. She teaches him to refine, rethink, and reimagine. It's not always smooth, but that's what makes the success sweeter. In the end, the Aries-Libra business dynamic is more than just professional, it's a lesson in balance. Drive with direction. Passion with perspective. Heat with harmony. It's the kind of partnership that doesn't just chase success, it defines it. And if they play their cards right, they don't just build something profitable, they build something lasting. The final verdict, destiny or drama? When it comes to the Aries man and the Libra woman, no simple label fits. They are not your average couple. They're a dynamic paradox, opposite in nature but eerily in sync when the stars align just right. Their connection is cosmic, but not always comfortable. It's not one of those breezy love stories where everything falls perfectly into place. This is a relationship that tests, transforms, and, when nurtured, transcends. Soulmates? Possibly. Star-crossed? At times. But more than anything, they're two forces of nature learning how to orbit each other without spinning out of control. Aries is the flame, bright, hot, and constantly moving. He loves deeply, but his love has no patience for stagnation. He craves momentum, challenge, and authenticity. He's not afraid to love loudly, but subtlety often escapes him. Libra, on the other hand, is the breeze, cool, graceful, and intentional. She doesn't just love, she curates love. She wants beauty, harmony, and a feeling that everything fits just so. Their emotional languages are different. Aries blurts. Libra balances. Aries rushes. Libra reflects. But where some might see incompatibility, astrology sees polarity, each possessing what the other lacks. Their relationship is a constant negotiation between impulse and elegance. And if they embrace that negotiation as part of their magic, something remarkable happens. The Aries man begins to soften, not in strength, but in expression. He starts to listen. To wait. To consider. Not because he's being controlled, but because he sees value in Libra's grace. Libra, in turn, becomes bolder. She takes risks she once overanalyzed. She finds comfort in the chaos. Aries ignites her, pushes her out of her comfort zone, not to break her, but to help her see how brightly she can burn. When these lessons land, their connection becomes not just passionate, but powerful. But this magic has its price. And that price is work. Real work. Communication must be intentional. Aries can't assume Libra's silence means agreement. Libra can't expect Aries to read between her artfully chosen lines. Emotional immaturity on either side, whether it's Aries lashing out or Libra withdrawing, can turn the spark into wildfire. Miscommunication becomes mistrust. Passion morphs into power struggles. And love that once felt divine begins to feel exhausting. Still, here's the truth most won't say out loud: the potential for greatness between an Aries man and a Libra woman is extraordinary. Their differences are not deal-breakers. They are design features. He teaches her to live louder. She teaches him to love smarter. They expand each other's worlds. They inspire each other's growth. Together, they can build a relationship that isn't just functional, it's unforgettable. The kind of love that feels like art and thunder rolled into one. But that outcome is a choice. Not destiny. Not luck. A choice to show up. To stay curious. To challenge each other without tearing each other down. When they both commit to that level of growth, they write the kind of love story that others admire but can't quite replicate. A union that leaves a legacy not because it was easy, but because it was real. So, are they soulmates or chaos? Both. And that's the beauty of it. Fireworks don't last forever, but when aimed in the right direction, they can light the sky long enough for others to believe in magic again. Thanks for watching. If this deep dive gave you chills, smiles, or just something to think about, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more cosmic insight, and drop your zodiac match in the comments. We just might break your duo down next. And hey, don't forget to check the description for exclusive content, links to our socials, and all the extra astro extras. Until next time, keep looking up.